Let's give it up for brother Nonie Cabrera. I think this is your. I'm gonna prepare your. Sorry.
You know, there's only one reason when they introduce you that way. They tell you, you know, you only have 10 minutes for your talk. That's it. But good afternoon, while you're preparing for the slides. Do you all go to this church, parish? Have you attended your parish in council? Are you familiar with the parish in council? If not, you know, I'm pretty sure you're going to see some of those invitations. The reason why I mentioned that, I've attended one. I guess the next speaker is heavyweight. I'm nobody, you know, but he's really amazing. So I come from Good Shepherd Parish, which is in the west, and we've done basically copied and pasted what you guys are doing here. Yeah, so thank you for being here, but thank you for spending your time with us. Okay, so a few days ago, Jasper and I, we had this some sort of a sleep out. You know, probably, is it okay if I go here?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So, and I.
Hi, bro. Wait lang.
Thank you.
It might be. How did it get in?
That's it. There you go.
Sorry.
Oh, good. So I can talk forever. I'll put a timer.
Oh, please.
So some of you that you look young, because you know I can be your dad. You know, I'm a dad of two, so I've got a 23 and 19. You know, 23 and 19. I have the one who's sharing. One of them is already a doctor. He's doing his internship, so I'm very proud that and I've been in the community for about 30 years, but 20 years here in Australia, 10 years in the Philippines. So, okay. I've attended, I've lost count of, you know, the many Christian life programs that I've attended, that I've been to, whether as a participant, you know, as a sharer, as a speaker, or just a member of the service team. You know, I know what they're feeling right now. You know, every one of us were there waiting for those that you've invited. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We're grateful for the time that you're spending. Don't look outside because, you know, you may want to go out. You know, this is the best time to go on shopping, have a coffee, you know, with your loved one or what have you. Okay. So, So today is the orientation talk. And I remember 30 years ago, it was my friend who invited me to the same program. Nonie, I'm attending this program. Would you like to come? I said, okay, let me go. He did not show up, but I know where to go. Kirk Street, I'm just using this example. Turn left to Kirk Street, wherever you're coming from. You know, you see some of the people inviting there. Thank you. So, what do you call that? And that started my community life. So I've been in the community for many, many years. What I love, you may not believe this, but I'm a very shy person. But with the community, I've learned one thing. I've learned to enjoy meeting new people. There's a story to each and every one of us, you know? And the beauty about it, the beautiful thing about it, you will know when we talk to one another, we're all connected in many ways. We're all connected in many ways. I know what you're feeling right now. I know what you're feeling right now. Some of us are, okay, who's Adam? Who's the guy who, is it he? What am I expecting? You know, the time given to me, you know, is not enough to tell you the wonderful stories, you know, that I've heard, that I've experienced through, you know, not only in the Christian Life program, but through the community of all in all. So hopefully today with the orientation talk, first you're going to have an idea what Christian Life program is all about. Is this something for me? You know, is this something worth spending my time, you know, every Sunday if you're going to attend? If I can only ask one thing, probably you know more things than me or than the service team. If we can think or picture ourselves as empty cups, I know we come at a program, I know about this, I've heard about this. Similar to, going to a mass, listening to the same gospel, every year, the same homily, but there is always something new that you learn. And hopefully, when you go home, at least 3 things that you can fill your cup with, okay? So, the Christian Life program is an integrated program. If you're going to think about it, like a staircase, one talk leading to the other. And those are the main objectives of the Christian Life program. Enable participants to learn more about God's love through Christ and renew our faith in Him. Nonie, I'm already doing that. Probably we can affirm that. Empower participants in their Christian life by living in the power of the Holy Spirit. Can you imagine yourself, every time you wake up, you're just excited of your day. Whether going to work, imagine those days like, Lord, impress me today. Lord, what do you have for me today? Whether every day is different. Some days you wake up, you're worrying about something. But then when you pray, you feel like it will be fine. And then, invite participants into a strong environment of love, support, and ongoing formation. I'm a very strong advocate of a community life. We're not meant to live as an island. We're meant to live as a community. I've got 2 boys. The first thing that I've taught them when they're driving, when I was teaching them how to drive, I said, when you drive, think about your safety, but think about the safety of those people around you. You are a part of a community. Sometimes nowadays you see, it's all me first and so on and so forth. But I'm a strong advocate, that we can be, live in a very strong environment, community. So the Christian Life program consists of 3 modules. So every module consists of 4 talks. So including this, there are 13 talks. So module 1, basic truths about Christianity. Module 2 talks about authentic Christian life. And then module 3, living a spirit-filled Christian life. This afternoon, you're going to hear the first talk of module 1. I hope they threw out the key, so you'll be locked for the next 2 hours. So there's no reason for you to go out, But forget about next Sunday. Forget about next Sunday. I hope and I believe, if you coming here, it's not by coincidence. Probably some of you have been, nagged by your friends, 3 weeks from now, there's an orientation session every week, every Friday, every Saturday. They've been following you up, or you've been hearing about this invitation in the church, or some of you have seen, of the invites, and you like what you've read, and let me check about that. So, the same way that I've experienced, the Christian Life program that I attended, it was always Saturday. Friday, I was already thinking about Saturday, and I hope you experienced that. Okay? So quickly, the orientation session, short talk. If we have time, we're going to have a question and answer. It's not basically attending or join an organization. That is the last thing that I'm going to ask you to do. If I'm going to ask you, join the community, Couples for Christ Australia, I'm going to lose all of you. You'll not come back, you're not going to come back next week. That is not my intention. That will be the result if you realize that through attending the community, attending the Christian Life program, you're going to realize you can encounter Christ. And you can build and continue building that relationship with Him, realizing that our relationship with Christ is the only way, to all the things that are happening in our around us. And then Christian Life Program is a concrete pathway into building a relationship with Christ. Okay? Just like, for example, I remember I could see young couple. I can only think of my son, Paulo. Don't tell him that I told you. And when he was attended a placement training in Lismore, he met his girlfriend there, who was also doing a training. She's a dietitian. Actually, she lives in Thornley. So that is where they met. So imagine like an avenue or a pathway where probably, hopefully, this is where you're going to affirm and experience your relationship with Christ. That is the $64 million question. Nonie, why do I need to participate in this program? I go to Mass every day. I go to Mass every Sunday. I read the Bible. I study the Bible. I can tell you right now, I've got a very good relationship, with Christ. I know that song, "Holy, Holy, Holy, how great is Thou art," and also on. Why do I need to participate in such a program? You have to go through why Christ came in the first place. This is really, really important. So it says he went to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and on the Sabbath day he went into synagogue as it was his custom. He stood up, read, and the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was handed to him. Unrolling it, he found the place where it is written, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because He has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. The eyes of everyone in the synagogue were fastened on him. He began by saying to them, "Today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." In that passage, he was actually referring to 4 kinds of people. You know what I've realized when I'm trying to think about this? It was actually personal. He came to save the world, but before that, He came for me personally. I'm not sure if we're going to recognize yourselves in some of those, and I'll quickly read them. What do they mean by those? So the poor, these are those who live lives apart from God. You can have, what do you call it? You can have many properties. Money is not a problem for you, but then every now and then you always feel there is something empty. Okay, the captives. We can be in captivity to things, desire, and ideas of no real worth. We can be slaves to money, power, work, and achievements. Those things the world values. I met people, they missed, I guess, many things because their focus was their career. There is no problem with that. Be the best that you can be, but not, sacrificing, what you were designed in the first place, and that is having a relationship with Christ. And then the blind, we can be blinded by prejudices, pride, wrong self-image, false ideals, and ideologies. We often do not recognize the things that are of real value. And then the oppressed. We can be oppressed by bondages to unrighteousness relationships, to hatred or intolerance, to greed and immorality, to fears, worries, anxieties, and insecurities, addictions to alcohols, drugs, pornography, gambling. I never did alcohol. I never did drugs. But I was put in a situation where living, in pornography, with that environment, it was very challenging. The first thing that I've told, and I'm being honest with it, the first thing that I've told my boys, because I knew, when you were in high school, that is where it all starts. And I went to Don Bosco Academy. We were all boys. And boys can put you in that environment. It was a very, I was not very strong during that time. But I guess when I realized that I can be free from that, it was really something that was really, really very, very good. And some of us may not have that kind of addiction, but we may have other addiction as well. So, when He proclaimed that glad tidings to the poor, liberty to the captives, sight to the blind, and freedom, for those who are oppressed. Okay? So, quickly, in the following, probably next 5 minutes, I'll try to answer all these questions. And hopefully you can see and we can relate, why they're important, in this topic. Are we experiencing the salvation that Jesus has freely offered to us? What do we see in the world today? Why are Christians behaving like this today? Why are we lacking in spiritual power? And what then must we do about the situation? Okay? So, I'll list down a few things and probably try to reflect if these are the things that you see in the world as well. Absurd in sexual immorality and promiscuity. Rampant greed, corruption, and dishonesty. Workaholics leaving no room for God. I met a few people, they don't have any work. Brother Nonie, please pray for me. I'm looking for a job. And he had a job. After he got the job, he stopped attending the Mass. Imagine that. You prayed for a job, you got a job, and then you stop going to Mass. Inappropriate use of social media, depriving family members time for each other. Sometimes I do that. Alarming breakup of families due to lack of commitment of spouses. Spiritual blindness, materialism, and individualism. Attack of religious freedom and extreme political correctness. So these are the things. I'll give you one example. I'm into mountain biking. So I look at YouTube every now and then. And you're going to see nowadays, you're going to see people, I would consider it as soft pornography. You see, I'm not sure if you've seen ladies, into doing, biking. And please tell me about the time, okay? So now the way they dress, they want to, if you click on it, it's like showing almost everything. And they've got followers, 400,000 views already. Just 20 seconds of, riding the bike. These are the things that that you can see if you spend so much time, in the internet. Okay? So, the question is, why are Christians behaving like this today? Some of us, we say, people are doing it, everyone is doing it. So it's good to do it. If I'm not going to do it, I will be left behind. Everyone is doing it. Okay? But if we're going to look what happened in the stories of the first Christians, they were full of power. And most of them, they sacrificed themselves, and at least now we can celebrate the faith that they've shared with us. Okay? And then, why are we lacking spiritual power? I've got 5 minutes left. Some of us are unwilling to give up sin. I'm not saying it's you, it's a general thing, okay? So sin is the one thing that blocks the power of God, and it's the one thing that really separates us from having that relationship with the Lord, okay? Some of us are good persons. Many, I could see that in your beautiful faces, but conversion to the Lord is incomplete. Sometimes our experiences are just emotional experience, but not something that will allow us to fully relate to Christ and fully relate with others. Okay. The other, what do you call that? The other reason is that we are not connected to the right power. In John 15, I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him, he that bears much fruit, for apart from me you can do nothing. So I guess, every time we do things, we always rely on our own power, but then we do not rely on the power that is available to us, which is the power of the Holy Spirit. So I guess through the Christian Life program, we will realize that the Lord, when He went away, He gave the availability of the Holy Spirit to all of us to connect to the Spirit and really live the kind of life that we were intended to live in the first place. Okay. So, I guess before that what then must we do about the situation? So I guess, one, we need to understand that we are meant not for this world, but for eternal life with God. So our stay in this world is transitory. Our true citizenship is in heaven. Then we are invited to invest our time and talent in this world. Not only in this world, we should also invest for the next, which is, invest our time, or how we can celebrate and how we can experience heaven. Be open to what Jesus is offering and approach it in faith and accept, this invitation to affirm that personal relationship with Him. This is my journey in the community. That is where I started in the Singles for Christ. That was me there. Now probably I'm losing much of my hair. That is my wife, Carol, when they were still little. I couldn't find the four of us. Now, what do you call that? At the present time. She wanted to be here, but she had, she lost her voice, so she's a bit unwell. This is the 25th year anniversary. That was in 2013. I'm still, a bit thinner during those days. And probably this is just a few years when we were attending the conference. I'm actually wearing an ID that we used for our conference this year that we had in Gold Coast, Queensland last year. So hopefully I will end there. I'll probably grab 2 minutes. The second father's not yet here, okay? Would you like to do like a Q&A? Yeah, all right. So we can probably open they're still waiting for father. We can probably open before the second talk or the first talk, which is, God's love. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything about, the Christian Life program, basically? DJ, Alisa, how did you learn about the Christian Life program?
It's referred by my friend.
A friend? Who is your friend?
Yeah, from West.
Okay, there you go. So do you live around the area?
In
Hornsby. Okay. So my friend, the friend who invited me, is now a very wealthy person. He's in America. He attended probably two of the sessions. He didn't finish it. But I'm always thankful that he invited me. Is it Adam?
Yes.
And Adam? And you are? Maggie. How did you know about the Christian Life program?
We learned about it from Dee in the parish office
Okay.
because we
Yeah.
recently started coming to this parish. Got
Yes.
in touch with her
Yeah.
to learn a bit more about the community here and
Yes.
meet some people, and she
Yes.
sent us information about this.
There you go. Thank you. I've only attended one of the parish in council. If you can attend that, that's a good experience. We actually adopted it, as I mentioned, in Good Shepherd. The reason why I mentioned that, I think Father Dave, the parish priest, they're really doing great work in making use of the parish as, I guess, a light, to Chatswood basically, is where the wealthy people come. Correct? Right. Yeah. I mean, it's, it is. I used to come here, I used to work here. I'm a medical rep by profession. And sometimes, those things, I'm not saying they're not important. I want to be rich. I want to be rich, really. I want to be rich. Yeah. I want to be rich, Every now and then I dream of, what do you call that, winning the lotto. Really. I'm going to build, what do you call that, a community, something, a hall like this, where people can use this, what do you call that, the buildings for good cause.
Between house.
Something to that effect, Just for I mentioned a while ago, I lead the Love in Action, that is a work for the program of Couples for Christ Australia. We've done medical mission back in the Philippines, helping the poor. So I want to be rich, but at the same time, that is the what do you call that? That is not everything. First and foremost is our relationship with the Lord. When you're rich with that relationship, and when you're rich, in the world, and what I mean by that, that. So this parish, if we can support, that's why that's one of the things that we're trying to come up with this Christian program, to run this Christian program, to invite people like you, and hopefully you're going to realize I can be a part of the community while doing my job, doing what I like in my life, but also serving, living my faith. By baptism, we are called, to become light to the world, something that ambassadors of Christ. Okay, I was asking for questions, and I was asking questions. Any question? Brother Nonie, can I say, for example, can I not attend? How do I ask that question? What if I miss a program? What if I miss a session? So of course, something, every now and then, very important things that will take us away from what we're trying to do. You're allowed to have, what do you call that, absences. I think Brother Jasper, the service team, will make sure that you do a makeup, as I mentioned a while ago. Think of that as a staircase, talk 1 will lead to talk number 2, talk number 3, talk number 4, and so on and so forth. So I believe after talk 2, I'm not sure if talk 3, it's already talk 3, can I still come? Probably you can, if you can make up those two talks, talk number 1, talk number 2. Is it free? If you're wealthy, you're not going to answer that question. But it's free. It is free. The Couples for Christ is a non-profit organization. We rely on the generosity of the members, So this one is being, it's free. You don't have you don't have to pay anything. What else? What are the other questions? JV, yes.
I think Adam showed to me a while ago.
Yes.
What what's within the program? Anything exciting or what he needs to look forward to? You know? So he's like excited at the same time. But what can we give to the beautiful couple here? You know.
I was just curious.
But that's a wonderful question. You know.
You know, my son, they were in Japan a few weeks ago. So, and he was with a cousin, and another cousin from the US came to join them. My other son, Benedict, he was there for a month. The first 3 weeks, he was doing like an elective study. The last week they did a holiday. So my son Paulo, he's into marathon. You know, he's into also. So now he's learning. They said, you know, we're going to do a mountain. We're going to hike a mountain, climb a mountain, 2,200 meters, 6.5 hours return hike. And the way he invited them, said, "Oh, it would be good. It would be nice, the scene and all that." He was telling me this story. Actually, I was going to use it, you know, get some photos. By the time they reached the foot, when they could see, you know, the end of, you know, where they need to go, everyone, they don't swear. They don't know how to swear, you know, because that's how we brought them. Thank God. But they were really complaining. Why are we here? Why did you bring us here? But you know, they managed to reach the top. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know what they discovered when they reached the top. Probably along the way, they've discovered many things. They've discovered many things. And I think one of those things is discovering something in themselves that they haven't discovered before. I've been in the community for 30 years. I've traveled to Coffs Harbour, 6 hours drive, 8 hours drive, back and forth, from morning to midnight, just to serve in that community. Just to serve in that community. That is for me. That is for me. But I guess what to expect, you're going to expect, especially with Talk 1, starting with Talk 1, you're going to realize how much you're allowed. Not only with your name Adam, you know, the first man, you know, but really it is something that is difficult to. So if you're into, I guess, concrete answers, if you're trying to find a way where you can learn more about your faith, how can you develop a deeper relationship with Christ? This is the place. You're into developing relationship with people around you. This is the place. You're looking for an avenue where you're being called to be of service to others, to be a light into the world. This is a place that I can share. Okay? What is your name?
Joshua.
Joshua, you're from where?
Where I'm from? Location? Or
Yes.
Location, I live in Epping.
Epping?
Yeah. I just got a silly question.
Yes, please.
Maybe no offense to everybody.
No, it's okay.
Sometimes I work, I observe the people. I think one of my manager also got a Muslim background.
Okay.
From Indonesia. No
Yes.
offense to anyone if they have similar.
Yes.
So I see her, she's very religious, pray all the time. Even I saw one colleague, I don't want to mention them, very
Yes.
religious, pray, wearing the garment, certain time, certain position. Certain thing is not I admire about anything, but I saw some very distinguished, I can see it, like tangible. And I mean, I'm not saying good or bad, but I think in a way I see, oh, okay. So I talked to her, I said, it's time for lunch. Have some food. She said, no, I don't eat, it's a Ramadan. So I talked to her, okay, you need to move the very heavy boxes. Eat some food. She said, no, since I was young, I fast. So I fast when I was young until now, but she doesn't look very skinny, she looks very bulky,
Yes.
strong, very strong. So I said to her, are you sure you don't want to eat? She said, yes, I'm sure. I can control all my desire, any desire in my body, I can control it, I can switch it. any design. I said, wow, how can that be possible? So I'm thinking about this. I look at other person in my work. Anyway, I don't mention the name. Well, I thought, nothing good or bad. I think, I just kind of thinking about myself too. Well, I try to do it. I know I fast, but I find a very struggle too. If I fast, yeah, it happened. But even I want to do it, it's just like my heart is willing, but my body is weak. You know, like, I find a struggle. But how come like they are able to switch in the body like machine, like control all the desire, everything? And so I was asking the question like, is it the spirituality? Is that the spirituality people pursuing? Sorry, again, no offenses to anyone here, not saying people fasting or devotion. I'm thinking, is it the spirituality, the pursuing, like, become like that? I think very good. I mean, I see, yeah, I'm kind of careful about this as well. I mean, is it really the spirituality or just going to extreme mode? Okay, yeah, you detach about a lot of things. I mean, detach this, detach that, and then like, wow, you become like a machine. I don't need this, I don't need that, I'm very strong. Is it really God desires to be? I mean, like, I mean, you just become a robot, you know what I mean?
Have you?
I think about like that too. I ask myself, yeah, maybe there's some sort of like power as well, but I think it's kind of dangerous as well sometimes.
Have you had the chance to ask him, Joshua?
You mean like
Ask him, you know, I guess what motivates him. I can only think about, you know, for example, what motivates us. You know, what motivates them. So my neighbor, in front of my house, they're both Muslims, you know. One's from Indian background, the other's from Iraqi background. And they do, you know, it's Ramadan, they do fast. But they're not skinny. They're not skinny. Yeah, so they're not skinny. So I can only think about that while I was listening to that, you know, what motivates a person? What motivates someone? Forget about fasting. Think about, you know, people who train, you know, Tour de France, you know, they just finished. They're very skinny. They don't fast. They eat a lot, you know. But what motivates them, you know, to go into extreme, I guess, fitness or whatever, exercise, training, you know, what motivates them? Probably to win. For them, probably winning is winning the Tour de France. You know, that will, I guess, that defines them. What motivates me? To be vulnerable in front of people, you know, to share about my addiction in the past when I was young. You know, I don't know you. My first time, I'm happy to know you, especially Joshua, Adam. What's happening? You know, with the Bible. But my full name is Leo, Pope Leo. My first son is 2 minutes. He's the second speaker there. Okay.
3 minutes.
So what do you call that? My son, Paulo. He's a pope. My second son is Benedict from a pope. My wife's name is Carol. You know, she's a pope with a C. You know, so when they proclaim the new pope, Pope Leo, now we're 4 popes in the family. You know? So Joshua, Adam, you know, so JB and all that. So I guess that's the only thing that, you know, entered my mind. What motivates people? What will motivate you to attend this? Listen, you know, see yourselves as an empty cup. You know. Okay, and I think that's it. I don't need 2 minutes. I'll give it to you, brother. I just want to thank you for being here and listening to the orientation. Hopefully, you got an idea, at least what to expect, you know, for each talk. There will be time for sharing. There will be time for praying. There will be time for singing. Those all things you're going to experience. So thank you for being here this afternoon. Okay, God bless you.